frankly, exhausted of Bret.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
but
people
you're the
have
lever
become.
Of power.
But listen, over the last decade.
It's over. She's done.
You know, when the kicker in football, they call a timeout right before he's going to kick the field goal. They're icing the kicker. So we were supposed to start at 5 p.m. This was the time they gave us. Originally, we were going to do 25 or 30 minutes. They came in and said, well, maybe 20. So it was already getting whittled down. And then the vice president showed up about 5:15. We were pushing the envelope to be able to turn it around for the top of the 6 o'clock. So that's how it started. And I could tell when we started talking that she was going to be tough to redirect without me trying to interrupt. I did this with President Obama. At one point, I just said, Mr. President, I know you like the filibuster. I just didn't even have the chance to sometimes redirect in those ways. I had a lot of other questions.
Kamala's staff was desperately trying to end the Fox News interview. This is actually very embarrassing, you guys. And I believe this interview this is it. We're 20 days out. This is it for her campaign, man.
Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
Talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. Talked about.
Oh, shit. Woo, boy. God is good all the time, ain't he? Oh, man, God is good, y'all. Oh, this is bad, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. You might want to watch this one all the way through. And they tried to tell her, though, that Fox might not be a good decision for your campaign. You already ran once and declined the Fox News debate. And going on Fox or trying to go on a Joe Rogan podcast might not be a good decision, Kamala, comrade, communist, chameleon. Let's jump in, y'all.
Exhausted of Bret.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam Vice President.
You and I both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade, people have become. But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me.
You say now he's unstable.
He is unstable, Bret.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And
but
Donald Trump
But
is,
you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
Did y'all see that body language right there? Look.
The debate stage, same Joe.
She knew this was a big mistake. They knew it was a big, and this is why. And then you see that, and then her team made them end it even earlier, because it was that bad. She got cooked. She got cooked, you guys. People want answers. He's done the right thing. He stepped aside. He was defeated. He blew the motor and transmission at the same time. And y'all called it was a cheap fake, a deep fake. 81 million votes. A cheap fake and a deep fake. Well, what we were seeing, they said it was AI edited. Unbelievable elderly abuse. And he don't know where he's at, what time of the day it is. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun's out. He is asleep. Mr. President, they just sent him off on another vacation. He done went on 5, 6 vacations in a 1 week time span. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know that was possible. He out cold on the beach, feet in the sand, curled up. He out cold, sleep on the beach. Oh, man.
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best.
No, we do not. She wants the medical report. She wants his cholesterol level. Trump probably gets 4 hours. We see Trump every single day. He's done more than you. He's went into the lion's den. He doesn't care the way they talk to him, the way they treat him. He's had 2 attempts on his life. He's taken a bullet for you and I, y'all. He's took a bullet for us. And he's told us he will not bend the knee. He will not yield. He will never surrender, even in the face of death, to expose this corrupt political world, this corrupt establishment, this corrupt administration. Nobody is worried about Trump.
Including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out, even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room.
Unbelievable.
And have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open.
We know about Mike. Everybody know about Mike. Everybody know about Trader Mike.
For him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration, because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. Oh. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a number? Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of 6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question. I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the elite. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish,
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they didn't bring up
in the
that
middle of
bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system.
This is
put
so
more
bad.
resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points.
Oh my God, this is so bad, man. She needs to be nowhere near the White House, man. This lady's incompetent, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, and again, it has nothing to do with her being a lady or her skin color or whatever, y'all. You know, are you qualified? She's every time she gets on camera, they send her out there. It gets worse every time she opens her mouth. Every single time, you guys. I'm sorry.
The work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed.
Unbelievable.
You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries
you know what, you got to
happened
take
during
responsible for what happened
presidency.
in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in
so
black and white.
Would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment surgeries?
I will follow the law, just as I think Donald Trump would say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think he spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas, at $20 million on that ad, on an issue that as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
on
it was
plans for the
different, but
American
we'll
people,
move on.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people say-
inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Why do you think more people? Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates
and then
in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's
that
administration
go towards
that
the Iran regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has
all of this money
has treated and
has
talked
been
about
a disaster,
America's
bro.
military and military service people,
Critics
calling
say
them
that it goes to
suckers and
Hezbollah,
losers,
Hamas,
has diminished
and
the
Houthis.
significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a.
We might drop 2 or 3 videos of this, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. It's so much, man. And look at everybody's talking about. They say Bret just ended Kamala Harris' campaign with the first question. You could tell she's never had one hard interview in her life. She completely unhinged. Oh my goodness, man. Look. Y'all, what do y'all think? Comment down below, man. You know, everybody's been telling me, Rick, please go do a video to the new Fox News Bret interview. Kamala's on Fox News. She should have never went on Fox News, you know. But then they were like, 2 or 3 days ago, they were like, she's in a panic right now. Trump is up by huge margins, and she is not where she needs to be right now, compared to the Democrats in the past, the candidates in the past. She is not where she needs to be right now, you guys. And it is looking like a landslide for Trump. You still see some of the things that are saying it's still tight, it's still this. They say some of the liberal polls, some of this are saying she's winning. But if you really look at it, it actually might be too big to rig if things are done fair. And this lady is in big trouble. You see how that desperate stunt they just pulled, and I say racist desperate stunt with blacks. With black men, and thanks to Obama, thanks to Obama and Bill Clinton this past week, they have put a huge man. They have made it worse. They've made it even harder for her, man. Shout out to Bill and Obama. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Island Bill. Barry, we appreciate you. And call up Big Mike. Tell Big Mike thank you too. Tell Big Mike thank you too, Barry. But man, this is bad, y'all. She is pissed. And literally it ends up screaming. I mean, she's literally screaming. And I know she can't do that Joe Rogan. They want her to do that Joe. They're setting up a way to her to do the Joe Rogan podcast. It won't work, because if you think that, hey, again, y'all, we don't know what to expect these next 2 or 3 weeks, but it's like every single day it gets worse and worse for her campaign. This lady, it's pretty pathetic. You know, and every time they send her out there, she opens up her mouth. It makes more people want to vote for President Trump. Anti-Trumpers, never Trumpers, liberals, lifelong Democrats have already jumped on the Trump train. Simply because this lady is not fit. People understand that she's a puppet, that she repeats the same thing and will say anything to get elected. And you just pissed the black community off, sending Obama out there. You just pissed off blacks, black men. You pissed off everybody. And we're tired of the identity politics. We are tired of this crap, man. We're sick and tired of these frauds. People are sick of the lies, the fake news, the bias reporting. And she done got so desperate, they want to know Trump's cholesterol level. You know? What happened when we asked you about Biden? And Dr. Jill, she came out there. I'm the doctor. These people are frauds, man.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released and here in Pennsylvania that immigration into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you,
now,
just a number, do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Bret, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of 6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question. I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish,
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Man, this is not a presidential candidate, y'all. This is not a presidential candidate. I'm sorry. Don't want to come on and hurt anybody's feelings, but they got to be real. You know? And look at this. Look. You can't make this up, man.
Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, you know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop.
Let's go.
So, Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
I'm telling you, they knew where it had gone and where it was going. And just blew it up and exploded. They said, come on, get out of here, you know? And I'm glad Bret admitted what was going on behind the scenes and why they just, wrapped it up. This lady's a disaster, man. And we've been telling y'all that from the beginning. It has nothing to do with her being a lady, if she's a black woman, if she's this and that. She's just simply unqualified. She's simply DEI, didn't earn it. no matter which way you put it. And we got 20-some days, y'all. 20 days. 20 days. And this is why people are pissed. And you want us to, and Barack walk out there swaying in his shoes. You want us to blindly vote for a candidate talking about she grew up just like us. That me and her are the same. We have the same skin color. That we are this and that. Somebody need to hit him upside the head. I tell them all, hands behind your back. You're the reason why we're the hole that we're in now, buddy. I don't know about anybody told you. Pretty sure everybody's told you. Look at this, man.
Talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy,
Constitutional Republic,
the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it.
Yeah, this lady did not grow up like me. Yeah, this lady did not grow up like, I'm telling y'all, like a lot of us. This lady is man, she's unfit. I'm sorry. She's unfit, man. You know. And they think joy and identity politics is going to help them through the finish line. Think that free money and for weed and free money, you know, you might as well throw chicken and watermelon in there. That's what's the other stereotypes, you know? Unbelievable. Hillary had a big bottle of hot sauce. She thought that was going to win. That big old bottle of hot sauce Hillary was walking around with, you know?
States of America.
I just love how everybody's posting about this lady, man, because it's that bad. It is that bad, man. You know,
The country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on.
look at that. I'm gonna just look. The country, 80%, millions and millions of people believe that we are on the wrong track under this administration. And that you are Joe Biden 2.0. Then they ask you, what would you do different? Kamala, comrade, communist, chameleon, what would you do? My values haven't changed. I was a prosecutor, a middle class. My middle class story. We used to cut our front lawns. What would you have done different than Joe Biden, ma'am? Oh, nothing. 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 Joe Biden 2.0. Then Joe walk out there swaying in his shoes. He don't know where he's at, but he can barely answer the question, and he answered it. He said, "You guys, we sing off the same song sheet. We did such an amazing job. She had an amazing role on what we've accomplished. She had a huge part in this and that, you know. And we're in link just like this. Me and Kamala, we're in link just like this." So, hey, I mean,
on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with.
and this is why everybody wants these unedited interviews. They want you to release the full tapes. And shame on CBS. And now they're facing a huge backlash, and I believe some kind of law. So they're facing some serious stuff, you know, for airing stuff, edited and not airing what was actually said. I mean, it just crap with the fake news, enemy of the people. And I'm glad that Mike Johnson called it out, and they recorded what he actually said and what they actually edited and put out there on air. But we're sick of this stuff, man. Told you, frauds. Simple as that. You know, beating around the bush. Fake promise, you know, say this, and that, and just, you know, an empty suit. Throw the laptop out in the middle of the freeway. Throw the binder out in the middle of the freeway. Now also throw the tampons out. Throw the tampons out too. Kangaroos jumping up and down. Banana peels all out in the middle of the street. Kangaroos at the intersection. This is America. America isn't the same anymore, you guys. You know? Come on in. It's wide open. Come on in. We got free food, free healthcare, free housing. You know? But what about we the people? Why they people on the street struggling, dying, veterans? You know? Struggling, dying on the street. Outside the luxury hotels, they just say, come on in, Nick. Yeah, you got a nice room up there on the 4th floor. We the people come last, man. We the people come last. People are sick and tired of this crap, man. You know? You see how the whole, the crime rate, the board, you see how everything is backfired. And all the facts are actually hitting the fan. The truth is actually being shined in the light. And it doesn't look good for the Biden-Harris administration and the Harris-Walz ticket. Because everything Trump said, it's come to be right. But they call it misinformation, threat to democracy, dictator, Hitler. And now let's continue to brainwash people. We can't let him win. He's exposing us. Our corrupt agenda. Project 2025. He's this, he's that. Let's take small clips of what he said on this and that, and let's spin them. Let's spin them. Everybody is waking up and seeing this crap in real time, man. They are in trouble. This lady's in trouble. We are 20-some days out, man. And her margin, her where she needs to be, she's not there. You know, and just prayers that this is a fair, free election. That there's no rigging. Again, if it's done fair, I believe history will be made for President Donald Trump. In that it's a landslide. Too big to rig. You know, I'm just calling for what it is, y'all. You know. And I relate to a lot of you guys. Almost all of you. You know, I'm no different. You know, I got to get it out the mud just like y'all, man. And this is why I'm wishing the best in everybody's life. No matter where you're from, no matter what your age is, no matter what your skin color is. One love to the human race in this short time travel. I myself used to be an anti-Trumper or never Trumper. I believed in the fake news and family and friends. That he was this and that they were racist, that this. I believed in all that crap. You know? But there's a lot of us waking up and we're not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. We're sick and tired. And it's time for a change. It's time for a change in leadership, man. People are struggling, dying, you know, trying to get by, trying to make it. People have died. And this corrupt scam matrix, that's what I called it, the corrupt scam matrix. Prayers for Trump, his family, his team, his campaign. Prayers for you guys and your family. And we're going to drop another video on this, so be on the lookout. We're keeping it real though, but she just, man, you just can't make this up, man. But all I can say is, what did you expect? And when November 5th happens, and it hits the fan, and it goes the way we think it should go, all I'm gonna say is, what did you expect? What did you expect? They should be ashamed of themselves. You could have did better, way better than this. And the fact is, most of them were saying, if Joe Biden was to drop, you know, if anything, if Joe Biden was to ever drop out or, continue the race, we would never put her on the ticket. Top Democrats said she would have been on the ticket, but Biden endorsed her. Biden said, you know what? No. Here y'all go. Y'all kick me to the curb. So this is what they're left with. And every time they send her out there, it gets worse and worse and worse. I love y'all, man. And y'all know Trump is going to McDonald's this Sunday. I can't wait. He's gonna actually put them fries. He's actually gonna drop them fries, y'all. He's gonna actually drop them fries. Prayers for our president, man. Prayers to you guys. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for stopping by. And I will catch you beautiful people in the next one, man. One love to the human race, y'all.